Hello students, welcome into the ITLS Academy. Myself, Dr. Himani, PhD in Tissue Engineering and Regenerative Medicine. Today we are going to discuss about the biotechnology for the vaccine development. Seems like this word has become a buzz word nowadays. You will hear this word from classroom to cafeteria. It can be commonly found in newspaper, magazine, journals and all sort of media outlet which include print media to electronic media. People are organizing nowadays hub meetings, conferences and workshops on biotechnology where participants come from different areas like science, industry, administration, social work. So, as days pass by, it seems like the way our life is heading, biotechnology will become an essential component of our life. The day is not far from reality that we cannot fathom our life without biotechnology. If I have to say in simple words, it can be said we wake up with the biotechnology and we go to bed with the biotechnology. So let's discuss about the what is the mean of biotechnology. First, the biotechnology was used for the first time by Karle Irki in 1990. So we can define is biotechnology like applications of principles of engineering and biological science to create new products from raw material to biological origin. Example, vaccines or food. So we can define as like other way biotechnology is using biological agents in process to produce goods or services. So biotechnology is a basic requirement as we know that the technological applications of biological material is considered as biotechnology. In general, biotechnology use either living materials or biological product to create new product for use in various pharmaceuticals, medical, agriculture, environmental applications with an ultimate goal to benefit humanity. Example, production of recombinant proteins, resistance crop, vegetables, higher milk product, animals. So here in this picture we are going to see the how biotech applications are using in different area. Let's discuss about the first agriculture. In agriculture, genetically modified planting modes and hybrid micropropagations, biofertilizers and biopesticides, animal improvements are coming. And if we are discussing about the healthcare section, then recombinant DNA products, vaccine, diagnostics, monoclonal antibodies, stem cells, tissue specific delivery methods are coming in this area. And environment, soil, water remediations and biosafety and genetically modified organisms are coming in this environment. And industry, enzymes, fermentation based product, food, biotech industries, instruments and equipment, bioenergy, biofuels, bioinformatics and biomimicking are coming in the industry field. So now notable trends in the India biotech sector. So if we talk about the first, remarkable global positions. So India is the top 12 biotech des- destinations in the world. India ranks second in Asia after China, and India is the world largest producer of recombinant hepatitis B vaccine. So, pharma companies focusing on biotech. So here is a Ranbaxy, Cadila, Healthcare, Lupin, Dr. Reddy's, different type of pharmaceuticals companies operating in the biopharma segments. Let's discuss about the global companies setting up base. So here is the different global companies are present in worldwide, like US based Diatomic medical diagnostic company has raised USD 4 million from ventures and USD 1 million from KI Verifast ready for driving manufacturing and commercialization activity in India. So biomillions and molecular diagnostic remain strong loads. Growth in this sector is anticipated to come from the country's strong position in biomillions and molecular diagnostic as well as personalized medicines. In 2016, development of biosimilars has been speeding up via glycosylation's control of technology. So, last we are going to discuss about the growth in genetically modified crop. According to the international surveys, the acquisitions of agri-biotech applications, India has the fourth largest area covered under genetically modified crops. So this is the notable trends in the India biotech sector structure. So the Indian biotech industry has already become a prominent player in the global biotech industry. The evolution of the global share of the India biotechnology industry is more rarely replicated uh, in this figure. You can see in this figure, this is the 2017, 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 and 2025. In India follows the growth at the same rate as that of the global biotech industries then by 2020. So in this picture you can see here in 2017 this is the this orange color is showing the Indian industry values and this green color is showing in the global industries values. So you can see in 2007 the Indian industry value was the 11.0 and in the sorry in the 2025 the value was the 128. And if we are seeing in this picture in 2017 global industry values were 399 and 2025 this could be the 6017 billion. So, in India, follow the growth at the same rate as that of the global biotech industry. Then by 2020, global biotech would be 617 billion industry, and Indian biotech would be a 128 billion industry. Thus, the contribution of the Indian biotechnology industry in the global biotechnology market is expected to grow from 3% in 2017. This 3% into the 2017 over 19% by the year of 2025. So let's discuss about the size of the biotech industry. The biotech industry can be traced back to 1980s when the government create Department of Biotechnology India for merely 1.1 billion in 2003, and it has grown exponentially in the size to a 51 billion industry as by 2018. The year growth rate of the industry is 14.7%. The growth of industry is depicted in this figure as 2017. India accounted for approximately 3% share in the global biotechnology industry and stood among the top 20 designations for biotechnology in the world. So, sector overview. India, a biotech growth catalyst. Biotechnology sector is recognized as one of the key driving for contribution to India USD 5 trillion economy targeted by 2024. India biotechnology sector is poised to grow exponentially over the next decade. So, India is among the top 20 designations for biotechnology in the world, with approximately 3% share in the global biotechnology industry. Recognizing the importance of this sector, Global Bio India 2019 is going to deliberate on the opportunity and key challenges in the area of biomanufacturing, clinical trials, drug discovery, creating global supply chain for achieving a growth-oriented roadmap for biotechnology sector in the country. So in this picture you can see here designation of the India is third largest biotech designation in the Asia Pacific region, and the 3% share in the global biotechnology industry, and 1% is the surprise of the DPL and BCG and different type of medicines and vaccines. So same as you can see the in different type of market structure of the designation of India in biotechnology sector. Biotechnology in vaccine development. Public health is considered a major concern worldwide, both in developed and developing countries. Scientists from all over the world has made a lot of contribution in preventing the infectious disease to cure challenges regarding to human health. Biotechnology has remarkable role to find out the problems regarding to human health and development in many developing countries. So, vaccines represent the intervention strategy with the best cost benefit ratio so far applied in public health. Biotechnology advances in various areas of vaccine research have contributed to the development of safer and more effective formulation. So, question is, what is vaccine? A vaccine is a weakened form of an organism or components of an organism. A vaccine's sole purpose is to expose your body seen this trespasser again in its full blown capacity. You are programmed with the tool. This called antibodies needed to fight off that infections before it has the chance to cause harm to your body. So now we are going to discuss about the immunizations, vaccine and vaccination. First, discuss about the immunizations. This is any process by which a person becomes protected from a disease called immunization, and vaccine, a product that produces immunity from a disease called vaccine, and vaccination, injection of a killed or weakened organism that produce immunity in the body against the organism called vaccination. So the World Health Organization estimated that vaccine prevented at least 10 million deaths in just 5 years between 2010 and 2015. It says vaccines have been one of the biggest success story of modern medicine. Now we are going to discuss about how vaccine work. So in this picture you can see here a weakened form of the disease germs is injected into the body. In this picture also you can see weakened or dead disease bacteria introduced into the patient often by the injection. And if you see in this picture, the body makes antibodies to fight these invaders. After giving this injection, your white blood cells struggle to produce antibodies. These are the antibodies. Produce antibodies to fight the disease. These are the antibodies, and this one is your introducing vaccine by injection. And in the third stage, if the actual disease germs ever attack the body, the antibodies will return to destroy them. So, in this picture also you can see if patient encounters disease later, antibodies neutralize the invading cells. So, trends in vaccine development. Modern molecular biology, recombinant DNA technology and genetic engineering have opened the road to a number of alternative strategies for vaccine. Now, benefit of vaccination. So, in this picture you are seeing first benefit of vaccination is immunity supporter. Vaccine can act as immunity supporter. They can help your immunity system to learn how to fight against an infection. They can provide protection against some diseases and help us lead healthier life. Vaccination not just protect you but also the people surrounding you. When one person is vaccinated, he helps prevent the disease from being spread to others surrounding him. Vaccine prevent unnecessary medical costs later. Prevention is better than cure, so it is good idea to prevent a disease from occurring rather than to treat it. Vaccines are safe. If one is vaccinated, he or she is protected from those diseases for which vaccination has been administered. Vaccines save from complications of the disease. When a child is vaccinated earlier in life, he is indirectly protected against serious and complicated diseases. Immunization protects future generation. We can say save from complications of the disease. Now we are discussing about the protect from the future generation. We have already discussed about this. Save from the uh, complications of the disease. So immunization protect future generation. It is scientifically proven that vaccine have found to reduce and in some cases eliminated many diseases that killed or severely disabled people such a few generations ago. Now the phases of vaccines. Here are different phases of vaccine. First we are going to talk about this exploratory. This research intensive phases of the vaccine development process is designed to identify natural or synthetic antigen that might help prevent or treat a disease. Antigen might include weakened strains of a particular virus. Let's discuss preclinical. Preclinical, during this phase, researchers usually in private industry use tissue culture or cell culture system and animal testing to determine whether the candidate vaccine will produce immunity. Many candidates vaccine do not move on the next stage of development because they fail to produce that immunity or prove harmful to test subjects. Third one is the clinical development. At this point, a sponsors, usually a private company, submit an applications for the investigation new drug to the US Food or Drug Administration or called FDA. They summarize finding to the date and describe how the drug will be tested and created and at an institutions that will host the clinical trial hold a review border for appropriate of the application. The FDA has 30 days to approve the application. So once the proposal has been approved, the vaccine must pass 3 trial stages of human testing. First phase is administration the candidate vaccine to a small group. A small group could be less than 100 people with the goal of determining whether the candidate vaccine is safe and to learn more about the responses it provokes among test subjects. In the phase second, which includes hundreds of human test subjects, aim to deliver more information about safety, immunogenicity, immunization schedule, and dose size. In phase 3, which can include thousands or tens of thousands of test subjects, countries to measure the safety and effectiveness of the candidate vaccine. Next is regulatory review and approval. If a vaccine passed through all three phases of clinical development, the vaccine developer submits a biological license applications to the FDA. Next one is manufacturing. Major drugs manufacturers provide the infrastructure, personnel, and equipment necessary to create mass quantities of vaccine. They also reap the profits of successful or widely distributed drugs. And last one is the quality control. The approach and distribution is far from the end of the line. Stakeholders must adhere to the producers that allow them to track whether a vaccine is performing as anticipates. So this was the phases of vaccine development. Now we are going to discuss about the biotechnology in vaccine development. Biotechnology is mainly used in three ways. As these three ways as follows: separation of a pure antigen using a specific monoclonal antibody. Second one is the synthesis of an antigen with the assistance of a clone gene. And third one is synthesis of peptides to be used as a vaccine. So let's start with this reserve vaccinology. What is the reserve vaccinology? The basic idea of reverse vaccinology is that an entire pathogenic genome can be sequenced and screened by employing bioinformatics method to explore gene. Functional genomic approach such as DNA microarray, proteomics, and comparative genome analysis are used for identify of viruses, factors, and novel vaccine candidates. Genome investigation and selection of the antigen provide a new way to study the pathogenesis mechanism. Applying genomic approach to study both host and pathogen will ultimately drive in and guide next generation vaccine design. Next, we are going to discuss about the recombinant subunit vaccination. The gene cloning is a powerful tool to synthesize protein materials to subunit vaccine by recombinant DNA technology. Recombinant subunit vaccine are made from fragments of protein called antigen expressed in the laboratory using the virus DNA. For example, hepatitis B vaccine. The hepatitis B virus genes that code for the antigen is integrated into Baker's yeast genome and then express the antigen genomics. So, the recombinant strategy have become increasingly important to the passive vaccination strategy and use antibody or fragments to prevent infectious disease. Next one is recombinant protein vaccination. Upon infection, a pathogen product proteins to elicit an immune response from the infection body. The gene encoding such a protein is isolated from the causative organism and used to develop a recombinant DNA which is expressed in a heterogeneous expression system, include bacterium, yeast or infected. So, recombinant protein vaccination such as cholera vaccine, diphtheria toxoid and tetanus toxoid are composed of protein toxin antigens that have been produced in another host organism or purified from large amount of pathogenesis. So the vaccinated process, this vaccinated the vaccinated persons produce antibody to the protein toxin and antigen to protect themselves from disease. Next is deoxyribonucleic acid or DNA vaccination. So DNA vaccination is a technique for protecting against disease through the direct injection of genetically engineered DNA. DNA vaccine may the ability to induce a wider range of immune response type over conventionally vaccine. Despite several DNA vaccines are available for veterinary uses, none of them is commercially for human uses. Next is messenger ribonucleic acid or mRNA vaccination. mRNA vaccination consists of mRNA which is encoded by antigen genome or an infectious agent. When the mRNA is administered into the host cell, it will translate protein antigen that elicit protective immunity against the infections. So, mRNA vaccine. So, mRNA vaccine can introduce to a balanced immune response compromises both cellular and human immunity. So, next one is now we are going to the enlargement of protective groups. These are the groups which are already shown in this diagram. So we have already covered these 3 and these 2. Now we are going to cover these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now first is enlargement of protective groups. Most vaccines were focusing on infants and children, but adolescents and adults are gradually being targeted. During the course of their lives, adolescents and adults may need vaccination when they are hurt, sick, and pregnant, or take a tour to some disease endemic area. Next one is development of combination vaccine. Combination vaccine including two or more vaccines that could be given individually or by combining them together into one shot. Next is development of multiple administration route. Most of the vaccines are given by the injections such as intramuscular, subcutaneous and intradermal injection. Additionally, mouth and nose tests are two successful alternatives routes for the administration. Next one is the development of synthetic vaccine. Synthetic vaccines are composed mainly of synthetic peptides and polysaccharide or antigen. Next one is development of vaccines for both initiative and adaptive immunity. Conventional vaccines only introduce adaptive immunity, but vaccines are being designed to stimulate both innate and adaptive immune response. This can be accomplished by the addition of an appropriate adjuvant. Next is development of vaccine for preventing non-infectious disease. Conventional vaccines are only used to prevent infectious disease in which active immunization is largely confined to infectious disease. However, vaccines are being developed to prevent many non-infectious human disease such as cancer or type 1 diabetes or mellitus, the Alzheimer's disease and the drug addiction are etc. also used in this parameter. Next one is development of vaccine for therapy. Vaccines are conventionally prophylactic, but vaccines are being developed to treat chronic virus and infection and cancer. So chronic virus infection, the induction of cellular immune response can suppress chronic virus infection such as HBV, hepatitis C virus and human immunodeficiency virus. Cancer, if we are talking about the cancer, so some cancers are difficult to treat by conventionally methods such as surgery, radiation, chemotherapy and targeted therapy, but can be controlled by immune response triggered by the cancer vaccine. Next, we are going to discuss about the development of vaccine for bioterrorism. So, it is needed to develop vaccine to define against bioterrorism against such an anthrax, plague, smallpox, and even serve acute respiratory syndrome called SARS. Such vaccine must provide protection against pathogens that might enter the body by a variant of routes including the oral and respiratory tract. So next is what is the future of biotechnology vaccine? The development in the past 10 years have clearly pointed towards immense possibilities of developing more efficient, safer, thermostable and economically affordable viral vaccine using molecular approaches. Already some efficacious recombinant human and animal viral vaccines have been commercialized and some are at different stage of development. Despite the great stride in vaccinology, a number of problems related to stability, safety, efficiency, environmental concern, and economic feasibility remain unresolved. Next one is, once technical problems are solved regularly and publicly, issues must be traced. Now, the new technology will change vaccine delivery. Many technologies under development will improve the simplicity and effectiveness of the vaccine delivery. Under development are multi-layer particles technologies and alternative adjuvants which have the potential to remove the need for the multiple suits. So, next is needle-free administration is already possible for some vaccines such as live vaccine given orally, polio vaccine or via a nasal spray like influenza vaccine. So currently many vaccines needed to be injected, but researchers are working on edible vaccine materials. So next and last one is needle-free skin patches and micro-needle injection technology to develop the vaccine through the skin without discomfort. So guys, I have covered my topics related to the this lecture. So I hope you all students able to understand this lecture. If you have any query, then you can mail me on this innovation career for you at gmail.com. Thank you for listening me.